Scott.
I want you to know that when I'm elected, there will be...
You guys running mates?
We'll promise anything.
Wherever you find a crowd, you'll find a camera, and every time you find a camera, you find Rick Lavello.
Let me ask you one thing about that.
I don't want to tell
I want to ask you one thing about that shirt.
What do you want to ask?
Where do you keep the batteries?
Well, it's just an internal illumination, that's all it is.
No, this says Jody stuff. Go ahead and take a plate and do it, Carol.
In Big Bend?
No, I don't.
Did you work here in Big Bend?
Nope.
Did your daddy work here?
My daddy worked here.
And what did he do?
He was a ranger.
And what is he now?
He's a chief ranger.
He's a chief ranger. Are you glad to be back in Big Bend?
Yeah, it's nice.
What are you going to do while you're here?
Show her around.
And who is her?
That's Jamie. She's my friend from San Antonio.
Oh,
Has no makeup
I think I saw it.
Really embarrassed.
Weren't you on Miss Teenage America the other night?
Oh, I wish I was.
Okay. Would you like to say anything?
Hi.
You want to recite something?
Recite something? What? Once upon a midnight dreary. That's the only
Where's
one.
your favorite place to go in Big Bend?
My favorite place? South Rim.
South Rim? What's your favorite animal in Big Bend?
I like them all. Working for the highway department.
I remember there were two of them. And the smaller one stayed the longest.
Just act natural.
We're very natural here. But Monica was in fourth grade. Now she's a freshman.
Gosh, he was 80 years old on the 29th of...
You came the farthest, so you get to cut the cake, see?
How should we do this? So pretty. There's
The
no
normal
plates.
way women cut cake.
She baked it.
Oh, we have bowls.
Okay.
How does it feel to have the honor to cut the cake?
Oh, well, let us tell you. It reminds us of our days being back at Big Ben in the community room and having parties. Come here. Here's another lady who lived here at the same time we did.
Have you ever been on television before?
Yeah. How are you?
Watch out, Florence is going to hit you. I like the best about Mike is his laugh. Yes. Come on, let me. Hi, Florence. Florence. Florence.
Let me get far enough away.
Florence, do you remember when we were on TV together?
Yeah, right. And I want you to stay far away because it shows all my wrinkles.
Well, you can see where the river comes here. Here's a bottom right here.
Here we go. There's a lower canyon. What does this mean?
Go back to the
It's just a name? You mean like a person's name?
three-way man.
It's just like the first name.
Hasn't that battery run out yet?
Alright.
No, my mom and dad have to be there.
My mom and dad do it.
Okay, you gotta do it tonight.
My parents were, I told them I wouldn't.
Maybe.
Did you like the cake?
Yeah, we like.
Did you like the movie?
Yeah, we like the movie.
I've always
Table tents, huh? You went up at 7? I'm just gonna get the cheapo. No specials. How come I never come up here on specials? Here up in the Chisos Mountain Lodge, famous cuisine of Big Bend. We're about to order from this exquisite menu, Big Bend National Park.
Wait a minute.
As you can see, the choice is very small. When you come to the Chisos Lodge, it's not to enjoy a great dining experience, it's to enjoy a great view with great friends. So today, they have a lunch special, which is 2 beef and bean burritos. Those are pretty good. Or you can have the favorite, the Chisos burger plate.
Do it.
Texas and went to Oklahoma.
Try it.
Had the IQ of 37. When he moved, they increased the IQ in both states. I know that one.
Can't tell them that.
These movie.
Let me ask you something.
What?
Open your eyes. You're not sleeping. You want people to see your eyes closed on this? Take your hand away. Let me ask you something.
What?
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I don't know.
And I don't know? What's that?
Chisos milkshake, fast.
What do you want to say? How does it feel to be back at Panther Junction?
Oh, I just feel just fine to be back to Panther.
Who did you come with?
With my daughter.
She's sitting in the truck?
Yeah, she sit in the truck.
Is she married?
Yeah, she got one child.
One child?
Yeah.
Oh, too bad for me.
Yeah, too bad for you. I'm taking a beer with Mr. Gonzalez, you know him?
Oh, yeah, let me see.
Yeah, Mr. Gonzalez.
Oh, yeah.
You know me, you know.
Yeah. What do you do here in the park?
Since when do you know me, Rick?
Since you were a little boy.
Hello.
Since 1975, when you gave me my first ride to Alpine on your truck.
75?
Yeah, that's when I asked you for a ride to Alpine one time and you gave me a ride.
Really?
75.
Yeah, that was when you were young.
75.
Before you got all those gray hairs.
10
was
years.
here. What was your boy?
70 years.
Mm-hmm.
Came in.
Yeah, very good.
The Deckerts are here.
69.
Have you seen the Deckerts yet?
Friend Decker?
Frank Decker, where is
He's at the Casa Grande trailer right now.
it?
They'll be there at 5 o'clock.
Is he there now? The guest trailer?
Uh,
I'm not very much of a speaker anyway.
But Frank's already been on TV once today. I was interviewing him up there drinking a beer. But can you all hear? Okay. Frank, what years did you work in Big Bend?
I worked in the Big Bend since 1954.
And when did you retire?
In 1986,
1986.
October.
What was your job here for those who didn't know you then?
Well, at first I started as a laborer, which in those days we were getting 75 cents an hour. And we started at Big Bend from the bottom up till now. To me, Big Bend is a big pleasure to be in Big Bend because we started it. And it has been a good pleasure for me to work with Big Bend for 32 years.
32 years. Did you have a lot of things in here? A lot of parties and dances?
Of course we did. Those days with Frank Decker, which is his president, we had a lot of dances and parties and all that stuff, and we had a good time. I don't regret anything. We all just like a community. We're just like one whole family until the day I retired. Now I don't know what how everything goes. As I heard, I don't know whether it's truth or not. Everybody's independent now, which I don't think it's
Yeah, we were talking about how years ago we didn't have television here at Panther Junction, so we did things more often. But, you built a lot of these signs here in the park, didn't you? You carved a lot of these signs?
Yeah, of course, I carved practically all the time at Big Bend. And I heard that they're getting rid of all them signs, which I like to get back. In case they're going to destroy them, I think I can make good use out of them.
Well, maybe you'll be able to talk the park into giving them to you. Who knows?
Well, I don't know. I doubt it very much. Yeah, it has been a good place to be with you people around here. Everybody.
Do you remember anything about, is there any certain story that you'd like to tell about something that happened to you long ago in Big Bend that was exciting, or you have any exciting moments? Did you see any bears?
No, and I heard about seeing bears, but one at, what is it, Tinaja.
Ernst Tinaja?
Yeah. There's one there. I don't remember exactly what year it was, but I heard lately that you saw a bear at Green Gulch.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So they must be coming in from Mexico.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You usually get the black bear.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, Frank.
Well, thanks a
You
lot.
broke the ice. Now someone else is going to follow.
Thanks a lot for inviting me for this reunion.
Good.
I think it's very happy, yeah?
Where's John Pearson and Felix Hernandez? Okay. Okay, I'd like to have Gloria Decker come up. Come on, Gloria. Now, while these people are coming up sharing stories about Big Bend, you can all think about what you're going to share. Come on. You know, I'm looking for anything that happened to you years ago, but it can't have anything to do with me.
I don't even remember. Were you here?
Gloria Deckert, in case you don't know, was here from 1976 to 1980, 1975 to 1980, and this is her first time back to the park since she left 8 years ago. And tell us, what was it about Big Bend that you liked the most when you were living here?
I think it was the doll. No, just kidding.
you have anything exciting happen to you here?
Nothing. Well, there was the time when Frank Grano came up to our house to bring a sign that he made, since you were just on the subject of signs. And he brings the sign over, and it had F.J. Decker on it. And I said, Mr. Grano, that's not how we spell our name. Our name's Deckert, with a T. And so he says, oh, okay, I'm sorry. So he goes back over to the place, and he makes another sign that has F.J. Deckert on it. And he comes smiling up to my door and says he's got the sign here. So then I said, but Mr. Grano, I live here too. So he goes back over to the maintenance shop, and he brings back a sign that had Mrs. on it, and he puts it on top. So I'm sure he was glad when he finally got our sign straightened out.
Do you remember anything about the wildlife in your backyard that was memorable, living here at Panther Junction?
I remember more of the wildlife that happened in this room.
You think Big Bend was a good place to raise your kids?
I guess so. No, our kids really, I really think it was a good place to raise the kids. Because when they went to Anchorage, Alaska, out of the school system here, and all three of them were in school, they did fine, just fit right in. Yeah, I think it was a good place to raise kids. They got in all kinds of trouble, though. I'm sure the park was ready when we did leave.
What else should I ask her? Questions from the audience for the... Yeah, tell us a story about your husband.
Well, let's see. Frank spent a lot of time on weekends writing the book about Big Bend, and he made me get out of the house with the kids, so I had to go down to Hot Springs a lot so the kids could swim in the creek. But no, we had a great time here. I was telling Mr. Grano this afternoon that the old saying that you can never go home again, I'm not so sure that's true, because we've felt real good. It's just like we're back here again. Pretty neat place. And we thank you, too, for getting us together.
Well, we're glad you could be here and be a part of this special interview.
I'm so glad, too.
Now, if you want, you can tell jokes, you can tell funny stories. Any volunteers before I pick somebody? You know if you're visiting the park, you lived here before, you know I'm going to pick on you. So you can volunteer or let me pick on you. Okay, who's next? Let's get Frank up here next. Come on, Frank. You can follow your wife. Turn off that camera. He keeps it going while I'm talking to you. Now I know how it feels, right? Good. Now, I'm very thankful that Frank came to Big Bend because he hired me. And Frank, what do you want to tell us about Big Bend? What does it mean to you? You wrote a book about it. What would you like these folks here to know about your feelings for Big Bend?
Read the book.
Read the book?
Buy the book.
Buy the book. Anybody want
Signed
some?
copies for $2 extra. No, Big Bend is, it's hard to get serious with this group. It's our favorite national park. I think you can see that in the book and why we came back. But I'd like to tell funny stories.
Oh,
instead of
good.
talk about
Sure, funny stories. We love them.
Yeah, is Cherie Page coming back to this?
No.
There's a good story about Cherie and Gloria. We were down here at a dance one time, and they both had nice dresses on. They were kind of form-fitting and low-cut and all that sort of good stuff. And they went to the restroom together and came back, and they had traded dresses while they were in the restroom. And this went on, I think, 2 or 3 times during the night, you know, and I was not sure who I was dancing with half the time. But the part that I wasn't too sure about was when I woke up the next morning and I saw this red dress of Cherie Page's hanging on the bedpost. And I looked over like this. But it was Gloria, unfortunately.
Anything exciting happened to you while hiking the trails? While
hiking the trails?
While floating the river, while working as a naturalist? What were some of your memorable moments at work? Why don't you tell the story about the Glen Springs raid? That's a good one.
Well, that was a memorable moment at work and play. It occurred right in this room too. It was I think the first full year we were here. It was Cinco de Mayo, the 5th of May, and it was in 1976. It was the bicentennial. And of course, Cinco de Mayo in 1976 was the 60th anniversary of the Glen Springs raid. And Gloria was trying to make a good impression on the community, as she often tries to do. And she had set up a salad luncheon for the ladies here in this room. And so we got an idea that being the anniversary of Cinco de Mayo and with the bicentennial minutes occurring on television and that sort of thing, we should do something appropriate. So I got a bunch of white t-shirts and with a magic marker put bandoleras on them and appropriate sayings on the back, like "We like salads" and that sort of thing, "Viva Gloria" and so forth. And we got these broomsticks for horses, and so they were having a nice little luncheon in here with their teacups and so forth. And we got this wild music to play on the speakers, and then we all came rushing in, about 4 or 5 of us, riding around on our horses and ravaging the women. And we had one woman who was in cahoots with us, and she had taken a packet of ketchup, and we shot her, and she fell with blood all over onto the floor. So it was pretty exciting, but we did wrap it up pretty nicely because we all got our steeds up and settled them down up in front here and lined up and said, "We are banditos, and this is a bicentennial minute." And we went on to explain how it was cheaper to raid the salad party than to go into Alpine and buy groceries. So it was a good introduction for Gloria.
Well, getting back to the park here, away from the social activities, while you were here in the park, did you have any interesting experiences hiking the trails? Did you ever see any interesting wildlife while you were here, or have any adventures on the river that were worth repeating?
Went floating down the river one time with Gloria, and we had made it all the way through Boquillas Canyon, and we're at the other end with no mishaps in a canoe. And Vidal was along, and he was in another canoe. He had hopped out. In fact, everybody had gotten out of their canoes except Gloria and myself. She was in the bow. And we nosed it into the shore in a nice muddy spot, which is typical. And she was tired of sitting in the canoe for all this time, so she immediately stood up. And of course, with nose into the shore and pivoting on the bow of the canoe, she immediately fell over into the water with me in the back of the canoe going in too. And I still have a pair of binoculars. Every time I look at a bird through it, I remember that because there's Rio Grande mud in one of the binoculars.
Don't you have a song that you and your wife wrote about Big Bend you can sing for us?
Well, we didn't have to write it down. It isn't that complicated.
Well, do you think both of you could come up here and just sit here and sing the song for us?
Sure, I'm not sure we can remember.
Gloria, come on up here again. Okay, well, why don't you sing it and I'll kind of hum in the background.
Well, are there any Jewish people here? It's to the tune of Hava Nagila. You know that?
I'm Jewish.
Do you know Hava Nagila? Oh.
Maybe our whole family.
Yeah, the whole family come on up here. Just come on, Chris and Jason. And
Come on, you guys.
come on up here. Come on, I'll move aside. And
We 5 years. I hope we remember the words.
Well, we'll probably mess up a little bit.
Where's your guitar?
I forgot it.
Okay, you ready?
Okay.
Havalina, 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 peccary.
Javelina peccary, javelina peccary, javelina peccary.
Little
Pigs are running all around us. Little pigs are running all around us. Little pigs are running all around us.
Oh, it hit me
On the knee. It was the end of me. And
That's a...
Well,
choose somebody else.
yeah, we're going to choose somebody else. Thank you for being on the program. You know, this has never been done before, what we're doing, so we all feel kind of awkward. But once you get used to it, it's more comfortable. So now I'm looking over here towards Vidal, and I know he's just dying to come up here. But Vidal used to work here in the park as a naturalist, and I worked with him, and then he became a resource management specialist, and now he's working up in Guadalupe Mountains National Park. And Vidal, you have never really left Big Bend totally. It seems like you keep coming back, so, but I'm sure you have some stories you might want to tell about Big Bend, and I hope you do.
Well, Frank Decker, who was just up here, hired me. He rescued me from teaching school to some 7th and 8th graders back in my hometown. And it was immediately after that that we both went on that memorable canoe trip down Boquillas Canyon that he just talked about. And I remember remarking, boy, this is a lot of fun on that canoe trip. And remember thinking about all the school teachers in the world and how much more fun a park ranger life was here in Big Bend. But yeah, it's been a great 12 years now. I've been in the Park Service. I spent 7 years here in Big Bend. I left in '85. Like you said, I've been coming back to help teach a course here for this next week. I can remember there was a lot of social events in this building, like everybody's mentioned. A lot of dances, a lot of going away parties, just a lot of good fun. And like Frank Grano said, you know, this was one big family then, and I'm sure it continues to be that way. And I feel fortunate enough to have worked here and known a lot of these people. It's really been a great afternoon talking about old times and some of the old people that are here and some of the things that went on. But going back to some of the funny stories that we talked about, I can remember one moonlight run that Rick Labello organized. We all ran down to Tornillo Creek, and we had to have somebody to pick us up. So here's Rick Labello, myself, Doug Bernard's wife, can't remember what her name was. Sylvia. And Bruce Berry. And Bruce Berry still works here. And Raymond Skiles was given the chore of picking us up at the end of the 8-mile run. Well, halfway down Tornillo Creek, there is some drainages along the road there, and he drove past us, and we thought he was waiting for us at the bridge, and we were all huffing and puffing. And remember, it's a moonlight night, and we passed this little spot on the road, and all of a sudden this thing pops out of nowhere, and scared the living daylights out of all of us. And that's pretty much the end of that story. But we had a very active jogging club then. Frank, I remember jogging with Frank one afternoon, and Frank was, of course, in better shape than I was, had longer legs, and I tried to keep up with Frank for the first 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes, boy, I just had to drop by the side of the road. Didn't finish. Yeah, I think I can recall just a lot of good stories, but some of them are not worth telling here. A lot of young people in the room.
What kind of programs did you do?
Here, I had a lot of programs, one on history of Big Bend, talked about mining at Mariscal, one was on mammals, one was on weather occurrences happening here in the park.
What was the best thing that happened to you during those years?
Speechless. And probably the best thing that happened to me was Ray Olivas, who's still working here. He, one winter in January, he said, there's this new SCA here. I need for you to take her out to Castellon and show her the ropes down there. She'll be working with you this spring. So I looked and took this SCA. And for the next 8 straight weeks, this SCA would go down there with me Saturday and Sunday, and we'd put on a program, and I'd do a nature hike and things like that. Well, it turns out I end up marrying this SCA. So, that's probably the best thing that's happened to me.
Any questions for Vidal from the audience? Okay.
Of course, there's a lot of fun things.
Well, thanks a lot, Vidal. It's been nice having you on the program. Okay, Jody, would you like to come up? Short and sweet. Anything you want to tell on Vidal, you can. Tell about the movie. Okay. Your husband wants us to know about the movie. What about the movie?
Oh, there was a group of kids from Alpine, was it high school or junior high, that came down and filmed a little story on Joe Ranger, namely Vidal. They went all over the park with him and took him on a little nature hike and brought him back to our little one-bedroom apartment and we both of us there. Got to see the results of the film. It was fun. It was a lot of fun watching it.
What do you do up in Guadalupe now?
Work for interpretation. Long-term seasonal position, so I work about 9 months out of the year. Get 3 months to play.
Did anything happen to you besides meeting Vidal that was exciting?
That was probably the major thing that happened when I came here to Big Bend. Also worked up at the school for about 1.5 years. Really enjoyed that. I don't know, the kids here are great. It was a lot of fun working up at the school. Hoping some of them show up tonight so I can see how much they've grown.
Probably
4 or 5
most of
years.
them have transferred.
Well, a lot of them have, yeah. Working at the school I really enjoyed, and then I worked at the administration here for a while, and then as an SCA and VIP and interpretation here. So enjoyed all our time here, and cried all the way to Persimmon Gap when we left. It's really hard to leave, and that's why we keep coming back.
Well, maybe we can start a trend. See, I came back. Okay, well, thank you, Jody.
Thank you.
Well, Joe, you want to come up?
Let's keep it light. Let's keep it light.
Joe's the only superintendent to make it so far, and we're glad he's here. And he's now the director of parks for Odessa.
For Odessa.
And why don't you share with us what your years in Big Bend here were like? I know that you were here during all the drug bust years.
Yeah, let me tell you how I came to Big Bend.
Okay.
I don't know how many of you know Frank Kowski. He was the regional director. And he called me up one day and said, Joe, I'd like to be superintendent down at Big Bend. I was in Canyonlands National Park at that time. And I said, well, let's talk about it, Frank. So I went down to the Santa Fe office. He took me in the office and he closed the door and he put his arm around me and he said, Big Bend's got a lot of problems. He said, we got dopers going through the park. We got construction problems. We got concession problems. We need to do a lot of things on improving the roads. We don't have the attendance we should have. Hard times are upon us. And he said, I want you to go down there. But he said, the biggest job I want you to do when you're at Big Bend is to fix up that damn TV service. I'm not kidding you. There was a little of that involved. So I came down and we did. We fixed up the TV service, working with a fellow named New out of Alpine, whom some of you probably know.
He's still working with us.
And we had cable strung all over this place, and the pigs would come in at night. They loved those cables, and they'd chew them up. And they would have to take a little TV set around and check out all the leaks and patch the lines. But Hildy and I had some good times in Big Bend. We love this park. It meant a lot to us, and whenever I left the service, we wanted to move as close as we could to Big Bend, but Studi Butte didn't have any job openings. So we tried Alpine for a while, and finally an opening came up in Odessa, and I took it. And I can jump over the back fence and be down here in just a few hours. Yeah. We love West Texas. And Big Bend means a lot to us. We had a lot of good times. This room brings back a lot of memories. Jim Wilkerson put in all of this paneling here. I don't know how many of you know Jim. He lives in Alpine. Ron Reynolds did that mural over there on the wall. I met Ron even before I got to Big Bend in Alpine. He was with the art department there. We had some good dances. We had some international meetings in this room, talking about an international park on the other side of the border. I wish they'd do something about it rather than talking about it.
Who came to that meeting? Who were the...
We had well, Frank Kowski, of course, was the regional director at that time. The Mexican delegation was 2 days late. Don't ask me what happened, but they were 2 days late. We had a big barbecue in this room. Jim Milburn, who was the concession manager at that time, put on a big feed here for everybody. And the Secretary of the Interior for Mexico came to the meeting, plus a lot of educators and wildlife research people from the various institutions in Mexico. That was before the Chihuahuan Desert Research Institute had been formed. It was just in those formative stages, and they were interested in that, and they went up to Alpine and met with some of those people.
Were they from both states, both Chihuahua and
both states, Chihuahua and Coahuila.
Hopefully this time something will happen.
Well, it's been going on.
Since 33.
It's been going on since 1933. Connie Worth, the former director, started it back in 33. But one of these days they'll do something. Luckily, that's wild country down there. I hope it'll stay wild.
Yeah. You know, for me, I've been in Big Bend, as you know, since '75, and I left for a while. I can look back at the years I've been in Big Bend and pinpoint a few things that have happened to me here that are most memorable moments, the moments that I treasure the most. And of course, most of you know that I am interested in the wildlife of the park, so I can tell you that, you know, memorable moments for me have been times like seeing the 2 black bears I saw about a month ago, and not a month ago, but it was on July 13th, so it's less than a month ago. And then, of course, the time that I had a mountain lion chase a deer right next to me, and I could have reached out and grabbed the lion. That's how close it was. So that was a memorable moment for me. You lived here from '72 to '78. Was there any one thing or a couple things that were memorable things that you always treasured from Big Bend?
Well, one was hiring Frank Decker.
Hiring Frank Decker.
No, Frank went on to greater things. And by the way, Frank, that book that you did, which came out after I left, is a fine book, and some of the photographs are just some of Frank's, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We had we had a lot of dope problems in the park. Not in the park, but people passing through from Mexico. That was a big problem here at that time. And I know it's probably going on right now. In fact, there's probably somebody crossing that river right now with a load of dope. It's going on all the time, and it's something we had to live with in those days. But I don't know. We had a lot of good times. We worked very closely with the concessionaire, and I hope you're doing that today. And it was sort of family. We had National Park concessions and the Chisos Remuda. I guess they're still operating. We were trying to get some new development going in the basin, and I understand it's in now. We've got some dormitories for the employees.
Not finished, but
not finished, but
they're close.
At that time, the employees who worked for the concession lived in deplorable housing. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. And the old Dallas huts, well, you should have saved one of those as a historical object, because those old Dallas huts, I don't know what you ever did with them, but we used
to the dump.
We used to take one out every month or so and burn it. Just
they were
to keep our fire people.
Yeah.
Use the fire truck. But I don't think there's any one thing that stands out. I think the first day that I came to Big Bend, I had been to Big Bend back in the 50s. Fell in love with the place then, and when I was working with the National Parks Association. And I wanted to get back, but I never knew I'd come back as superintendent. Then I had all the headaches. Had to put up with guys like you and Frank, and Trulox and the Garretts, and all those good people. I wish they were here today. Some of those. And Charlie Shannon. How many of you Charlie Shannon? Great Charlie. I heard he might be coming, and I wish he could have made it. We had some good people here.
If anybody wants his phone number, I have it in my office. He's in San Angelo. Thanks a lot, Joe.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Keep light.
Let's see. As I look out here, there's one more person I haven't picked on. Hildy, would you like? Okay. How about one of the kids? Any kids have some stories they want to tell? Chris. Okay, Chris, come on. You're going to college now, so you can tough out this.
No, I can't.
Chris, have you ever been on television?
Yes, many times.
Really? Well, you've been very excited about coming back to Big Bend. I know you grew up here as a little kid. One of the first things I understand that you did when you came back to the park was you went out looking for your fort that you built when you were here. And I'm kind of curious, what kind of things did you guys do at this fort?
No, we didn't play doctor. No, it was a lookout fort that we had. It's the things kids do.
I understand you want to come to work here someday.
Maybe, yeah.
What is it about Big Bend that attracts you here, that makes you want to come back, besides the fact that you lived here? What is it about Big Bend you like?
Just the country. I love it. The way the mountains are around here, and also the people too. They're pretty friendly.
Think you might want to write a book like your dad did someday?
No, I'm not a very good writer. Couldn't do that.
You understand you want to be a veterinarian.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
What made you decide you want to do that?
I've always been good with animals, I think, and there's a veterinarian school right in Virginia. So I can prepare for that in the college I'm going to.
Did you, when you were living here, have any interesting experiences with some of the wild animals that lived around your house?
We used to have a pet tarantula for a while, and my mom hated the thing. And I guess every once in a while I would get out of its terrarium, and my mom was sitting in the bathroom one day, and she looks up and screams, and there's the tarantula on the wall right above her, and made us go in there and get it out. We had fun with that tarantula. We kept it for about 4 years. We were here 4.5 years. We got it right before we got here, right after we got here, and let it go when we left, and so it's probably still out there.
Did you do any interesting hikes when you were here? Did you have any memorable moments when you were hiking the trails?
I don't know what it was, but every time every time we went up into Panther Canyon or to Mouse Canyon or down to Tornillo Creek that goes into the Rio Grande, my mom and dad always made us do skinny dipping or something like that. And so they always wanted to get pictures so they can blackmail us when we're older.
Has it worked?
Not really, no. Just stay away when they do that. You're probably going to do some of that tonight too, aren't you? Well, I've got some blackmail from Mom too.
I almost forgot. Well, we're supposed to eat at 7. We'll probably eat a little bit early. I know Frank brought some slides. Did anybody else bring some slides besides Frank? Okay, we'll look at some slides here in a minute. Is there anything about Big Bend that you want to make sure everybody here knows before we end this video?
If you ever leave, always come back here.
Come back. That's why we're out here, to come back. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Well, we're going to have a dance after we eat, and copies of this video will be available for anyone who wants one. Just get me a tape and I'll make you a copy. I know this has been exciting for you to watch. And I can tell by the way you're sitting there, you just can't wait for it to start again, but this is it. So we'll break now. You can have a beer. We got Cokes over there. And we have to charge for the drinks, but hamburgers and hot dogs will be free. And after we eat, we'll start a little dance here and see if we can get some dancing going. Oh, but first we got the slides. I almost forgot. You have a question?
It's not a question, it's a statement.
Mm-hmm.
When I got in my car in the parking lot, I found some money. Anybody can identify it? They can grab it.
Okay, before you all get up from your chairs, Frank, are the slides ready? Yeah. We're going to look at some slides. So Frank, I think you remember how everything works.
I'm serious about this.